You're listening to Pyro Media Network, setting radios ablaze since 2017.
Hello, hello, hello. We are back. We are here. We are bold, beautiful, and living to our best abilities. It's your girl Fallon, and I am joining you now live for another episode of Put It in the Manual. I am, you know, giving the people a little break, it appears, because this last episode 4 was heavy. And I had to give myself a break, honestly, because your girl kind of put it all out there. That trigger warning was real deep, real, and unapologetically my life. So thank you for bearing with me. I hope that it wasn't too much for you to consume. And if it was, then I guess I'll just say keep living, because sometimes life is not pretty or cute or easily packaged. And that's a whole nother manual entry of itself. But let's get into it. I feel like I need something a little bit more clap for your selfish to go on today. So that's kind of going to be the energy that I am on. When is the last time you took a moment to actually clap for yourself? Just think about it. Really sit and think about it. I feel like we live in a culture where shouting out what we have going on is so negatively frowned upon these days. Like people think we're bragging, or people think you're being whatever, any which way. Like nobody wants to self promote, and I struggle with that. That's one of my Achilles heels when it comes to sharing and just putting stuff out there. But when is the last time you actually took a moment to clap for yourself? So I'm gonna take a moment right now, and I'm going to actually clap for myself, because like I said, if you've been rocking with me and you lasted all of that last episode, then you saw just how vulnerable, just how open and raw I was putting myself out there. And I think that deserves a round of applause. So I clap for myself. Not a super loud applause, but you get the gist of it. I'm clapping for myself because I did something big. I did something that I had been afraid to do. I hadn't spoken out on any of those topics in quite some time in such detail, with such rawness or such realness. So doing something like that, I think, is one of those things that definitely deserves a round of applause. So that's my last example of clapping for myself. But I hope you took that little second to think about some of your own clap for yourself moments. And if you haven't, that's okay. That's kind of what we're here for. I want to be able to let you know that sometimes it is okay to clap for yourself without validation, without permission, without being cued on a cue card or put on a stage against your will. Not at a meeting where they're asking you to put on a presentation, just genuinely for yourself. Even if it's like a moment where you're in the mirror, like, look, self, I did it, clap. That's what I'm talking about today. So this manual entry is about celebrating yourself. And really, if you think about it, how many times have you shied away from patting yourself on the back just because you felt as if somebody else would have something to say about it. Like, think about all the decisions you've delayed because you were waiting for some universal approval. Would you even be the same person? Would you even be in the same position that you're in right now? If somebody had told you, go ahead, don't worry about it, just do it. Just imagine how life could have taken a different turn for you. But one thing you have to kind of think about is at the end of the day, whose validation is going to matter but your own? Whose validation should matter most to you? Is it your parents? Probably not, because you're living that version of your life. We're grown. We kind of have surpassed anything they could have imagined for us. I know growing up, you search for your gold stars and you want to get your good check marks and you want somebody to just put a green check mark by your name. But at this point in life, you have to really do it for yourself. Now, I have decisions that I've made where I've second guessed, I've probably consulted too many people, I've probably gave myself and anyone who would listen a million and one scenarios on how I think or what I would hope something would turn out like. Ultimately, those decisions, regardless of anyone else's opinion on them, they fall on you. Um, and honestly, even if nobody applauds for you, you are still going to be the one responsible for your life, regardless of who you think is watching or who you think owes you permission to do anything. I'm a big affirmation girly, and I'll be honest, as kind of time has progressed, I find myself getting so comfortable in the everyday flow of life that I don't usually take a moment to think about my affirmations or give myself that personal pep talk that has carried me through so many difficult situations in my life. But I wanted to kind of give you all some of those affirmations um, that I would say fit with what we're talking about today. So, again, whose permission matters? Nobody's but your own. So, we're going to give ourselves permission to do some things that we might have been waiting on someone else's approval for, or waiting for a green light of our peers, or waiting for our significant other or our besties or anyone else to just give us that validation to go for it that we may or may not really need. These are some things that I have added to my own personal manual when it comes time for me to think about moving forward on decisions. And I wrote them down because I'm like one of those write it down so it's real people. And sometimes you have to do that when you're trying to hype yourself up or really make something make sense, make it real, make it tangible. So I give myself permission to begin before I feel completely ready. Oh man, that one. How many times have you felt ready to do something like big decisions? Most times you're shaking in your boots. But if you tell yourself that you're ready, give yourself permission to be ready. Even if you don't feel like it, even if your palms are sweaty, even if you have a little tap in your toe that nobody can see under the table, give yourself permission to begin, even if it's before you feel completely ready. If I moved only when I felt certain that I had all of my checks in a row and ducks in order and all these other colloquialisms, I probably would be standing still on a lot of decisions that I've made. Another one that's been big for me, I give myself permission to rest without earning it through exhaustion. Well, who are we asking to lay down? Like, why are we looking out, scrolling, wondering, checking in with others to see just how busy they are and making those comparisons of what we think we should be doing? Like, am I busy enough? Why am I laying on the couch when XYZ is out here pushing content out back to back or making strides in their day to day at work, or their professionalism is just soaring through the roof? Like, if you are tired and want to lay down, do it. Don't compare. Don't create a false narrative that you don't deserve rest just because everybody else is still moving and grooving and doing their thing. Don't do it, especially for the summer. Just chill out. It's too hot to be moving around like that anyway. Another one I have is I give myself permission to outgrow roles, rooms, and situations that no longer fit. Sometimes we act as if we have to stay within the confines of a certain barrier that we have perceived for ourselves or allowed others to perceive for us. Oh man, that again is another one that I personally had problems with and kind of had to look at myself in the mirror to realize that the shoe doesn't always have to fit. And if it's uncomfortable, I can be okay with throwing it away. Like, I don't have to walk around in the shoes until the soles fall out. I don't have to keep them until they don't zip anymore. And that's like a metaphor, of course, but if a position or a role or even a relationship or something that you're in, if it doesn't fit anymore, if you've outgrew that space you're in, give yourself permission to move past it. Like, don't make something outlast what it's supposed to. Everything has a timeline, everything has a limit. Don't try to keep on wearing the heels once the little taps have fell off. And I'm giving a lot of like fashion analogies because I can like literally remember the times where I have had a pair of shoes and worn them out just because I had grown attached to them, just because I knew that I could throw them on with any outfit that I had. I knew that wherever I was going, they were going to work. I had made myself a whole neutral color out of a pair of shoes that probably wasn't even the appropriate neutral to be wearing with a lot of things, but I just felt so comfortable in them. I just felt as if I could not let go of them. And I probably would have worn them until they disintegrated, but that's not how life is supposed to be. Sometimes you deserve something new, and my husband tells me that all the time. I'm a big save it, waste not, want not type of girl. But sometimes you just deserve something bigger, something bolder, something more beautiful. And you have to give yourself permission to be okay with receiving that, with letting those new spaces come to you and not being afraid to walk into them. It might not look like what you think it may from the outside, and you'll get comfortable. Might have some bumpy starts, you might trip a little bit when you first walk with the new shoes on, but you'll get comfortable. You break them in, and they'll be your new best friend in no time. Just don't be scared of letting some stuff go. Like, literally, some stuff is not meant to be in your life for a lifetime. Some people are not meant to be in your life for a lifetime. Some roles, some jobs, like this is not the era that our ancestors lived in, where you had to work at the same job for 40, 50 years, chasing after retirement. There are more opportunities now. There are different ways to define success, and you don't have to stay in one place just to have it. We have to start using a mentality of growth and expansion and winning and clapping and being happy and being grateful and being glorious about all the great things that are possible in our lives and that will come into our lives once we give ourselves permission to receive them. And I feel like I've just been on a tangent, so we'll go ahead and put a little pause on it so that we can bask in some of the permission that we have been giving ourselves to do some things and take a moment for our sponsors and let the church say amen and amen again.
Pyro Media Network is like no other streaming network. We are not controlled by corporate sponsors or political influence. We are a network created by the people, for the people. Our people, that is. Representation is so important, and we are focused on providing that. So spread the word. Follow us on all major social media platforms at Pyro Media Network. Or you can visit our website at www.pyromedianetwork.com and we will take your viewing experience to the next level.
Okay, and we are back, and we are still on our high. I feel like I said a lot in a little bit of time, but I'm going to give myself permission to speak freely and bask in that moment and keep on with the keeping on, because I feel like those permission affirmations, it did a lot for me, and I hope that it did something for someone listening. Maybe someone had a decision they were pondering or dragging their feet on, or maybe outgrowing a space that a bit comfortable has become a little bit torn or a little bit worn out, or a space or thing that maybe just doesn't fit quite as well as it used to. I hope that if that's you, that you are taking this as a sign to give yourself permission to do whatever the thing is, whenever you are ready to do it. Even if you don't feel completely ready to do it at this moment, bet on yourself. Think about all the other opportunities that you have pursued and just how successful you have been. Think about all the times where you doubted yourself and nobody put a gold star or a sticker on your forehead and sent you on your way home from school with a happy face on your green notebook. Like, just think about all those times where you didn't hear a round of applause, but you know you did a good job. Think about those times that you made those decisions. No one has been living your life for you. And up until this moment and after this moment, you are going to be the conductor, the architect, the driver, the head honcho decision maker on what you have going on. And you are going to be glad with it. You're going to clap your hands and celebrate moving forward, pushing past whatever obstacles. But let's get back to the affirmations. I started off by talking about clapping for myself, clapping for yourself, being happy, sharing the good news, or being happy, basking in the great things that have happened to you without fear of being judged or people thinking you're bragging or any of that. Give yourself permission, and I'll put it in the correct affirmation format. I give myself permission to celebrate my accomplishments without shrinking them. And I want to say that one again. I give myself permission to celebrate my accomplishments without shrinking them. I have dimmed my light so many times for so many people in so many situations. And I'm not even saying that from a place of just thinking I'm the brightest light shining out here. But ever since I was a little girl, I have always shied away from shining too brightly or being perceived as the person who knew it all or raising my hand first to answer every question. And sometimes I don't know, I still question why or where that came from. I've said things to myself or to my husband like, well, I don't want to talk about this because I don't want to make someone feel bad or make it seem like I'm gloating or bragging about what's great or going good in my life if that person is not in the same position that I am. I don't know. And I have found myself really kind of going back and forth with that. Like, nah, I'll be quiet. Let me not rain on anybody else's parade. And then it hit me like one day, what if all the things that you have been shying away from saying or sharing with other people was that tap on the shoulder that they needed to move forward, or it was that affirmation that God used you as a beacon to share your testimony about that was supposed to be the catalyst for them to get out of their funk or the hope and inspiration to let them know that good things are still happening for people and that they can keep moving forward. And just because the day may not be the best, that there's always brighter on the horizon. Like somebody told me that they needed to hear my story about overcoming an obstacle, or that my recounting how hard it was to get over a hump professionally or academically was just exactly what they needed to let them know that it's possible. I've even had a friend go so far as to stop me smooth in my tracks, like, hey, don't do that. Like, tell me your good thing. Tell me what is going on so I have something to look forward to. Tell me something good so that I know that good is still available and that good could still be my portion also. Now, I'm not saying be insensitive. I'm not saying cut somebody off mid sentence when they are telling you about their situation. And I think experts are probably like divided on if sharing a story in a moment when someone has shared something with you is a good or bad thing. We'll have to do like a little independent research on that one because I've seen different versions of if people think that's cool or not. But we're going to roll with the space of we're talking to someone we know and we are not trying to rain on their parade or one up them with our story, but we are merely sharing something good that happened. We ain't cutting them off. Like, hey, you just told me something real bad, but then let me go ahead and pop in with my story. That's not what I'm saying. So don't jump the gun, people. But share a good day. Share a win. Share a happy story or just whatever, if that is the space that you're in. Give somebody else the opportunity to know that good is still going on in this world, that joy is still existing, that people can be fun and whimsical and having the times of their lives, even in the midst of uncertainty or different things going on. Like there can still be success at the same time that something else is going on in the world. It does not mean that you have to silence yourself just because it's cloudy and gray outside. Let the joy from within be the sunshine on a cloudy day. Not even trying to be corny, but seriously, sometimes your good news might give someone permission to have hope or be optimistic that something good can come their way. Kind of want to share like two more of these affirmations and then keep it moving forward with the manual entry. But like I said, affirmations, that's my thing. And I honestly need to get back into the practice of using them and leaning into the ideology that words have power. I know they have power and I need to use them. So here's another one. And like I said, we'll move on past this, but I really want to verbally speak out and give somebody permission that they may be seeking or needing that validation to know that they can do something for themselves. So I give myself permission to ask for help. And I also give myself permission to take up space, both professionally and personally. Now, I know you're thinking, well, Fallon, you just said that we don't need to ask anybody for permission to do anything, or we don't need to go about getting validation from anyone else but ourselves. I did say that, but I also want to be realistic and know that sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we do need help. And I want us to not be above asking for it. There's a difference between asking a person what would they do. There's a difference between asking a person what would you think if XYZ. There's a difference between wanting to know if they think this is a good idea or not. That's not what I'm saying when I say asking for help. Asking for help looks like strategizing. Asking for help looks like going through the processes that may have led to success. We're talking, I've made my mind up. I'm doing this. Will you be around to help me be successful in doing the thing that I've set forth on doing? That's what I mean when I say help. You can give yourself to permission to ask for help. Will you support me? Will you be there without judgment for me after I have moved into this new terrain that I'm exploring? Identify those people who are in your corner. Identify those people who will care about you regardless of if the decisions that you've made don't look like the ones they would have wanted you to, or maybe they advised against them. Maybe they were scared and told you to avoid doing it because they wanted to save you from maybe a rejection that they received, not knowing that it was already written that the thing you sought out was already yours, that God had already said that that was your portion. It's okay to ask someone for help. It's okay to know when to delegate or see if maybe this person knows someone who may know someone else who can stand in the gap for you. That's fine. Don't be above doing that. Don't feel as if your hands are tied just because you are advocating for yourself, fighting to have the life that you want to have, and making the decisions that feel the best for you. Everybody might perceive your situation differently, but ultimately, you are the one in control of it. You are the one who is making the decisions. No second guessing yourself, but don't be afraid to ask for help and take up space. It's no point in shrinking yourself, no point in playing small. And I know it sounds like I'm preaching, but I'm kind of saying these things for my own personal manual. My manual is probably going to be twice as thick as the one I'm sharing with you all. But just know it's always a work in progress and always room to add something in the manual for me. So that's one that I'm reiterating and putting in my own personal manual. Take up space. Like, Fallon, you were destined to do great things. It's okay for you to post about it. It's okay for you to boil over with excitement about this great new thing or this interesting case that you may have won or just this new initiative that you thought of. It's okay to put yourself out there. It's okay to take up space. We were not put here to be invisible. We were not put here to play small. We were not supposed to be bystanders in this thing called life. And I know it's more comfortable to blend in. It's more comfortable sometimes to just be that enigma, just fade to the black, fade to the back, fade to the black. Like sometimes it's easier that way. But I don't believe that that was the way my life or yours was intended. Like I just don't see that for ourselves. I just don't see us being in this position, us being in this place at this right time, at this right moment to shrink or to put all of our thoughts away under lock and key when we have so much potential and so much positivity and just so many great contributions to the world we could be making to our communities, to our families, to our friends, just so many great things that require our presence, that require our physical bodies to be there for us to show up and not lean away from the spotlight. Sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to take up space, get big, spread out, open up wide. Sometimes all of that is necessary, especially when you are one of those people with the calling on your life and space and opportunity to really make a difference and a change, just don't be scared to take up space and kind of open up wide because your ideas, your compassion, your drive, your integrity might change the world. And that's real. I mean that. I mean it for myself. I mean it for everyone who is listening and searching for the right words or the right thing that they need to hear to just move forward and go big, go hard, and not go home, or go hard before they go home. Whichever way you want to do it, just count on yourself and hype yourself up, and don't be afraid to take up some space. Like, just take it up. Like, really. So that's my spiel on affirmations. If you weren't into them before, I hope you will give yourself some permission to start speaking those words of power over your life and your situation, over your family, over your job, over your friendships, over your spouse, over everything. Sometimes you have to be that person that is the loudest spokesperson for you, for yourself. Sometimes it's necessary. Even if nobody claps loud or gives you a round of applause, or even if they make a stank face when they see you being persistent and doing what you're doing, putting yourself out there, celebrating your wins, growing and glowing. Learn, silence the noise. Learn how to keep on keeping on. Even if nobody takes a moment to tell you good job or good boy or good girl, we can move forward regardless of the applause. And sometimes that validation and the applause are going to have to come from ourselves. Um, yeah. And I want to put that in the manual. I need you to celebrate yourself. I need you to do what you're meant to do. Be who you are meant to be. Be happy and grateful for every opportunity that has landed in your lap. Be loud about it. Be proud about it. Give other people motivation that good things can come their way as well. Let them know that it's okay to shine. It's okay to celebrate and be happy with your wins and yourself and your story and all the things you have overcome. Put that in the manual. Like, it's okay. I'm giving you permission. Even if you haven't gotten to that stage to give yourself permission, just think the foul is giving it to you right now. I'm giving you permission to clap for yourself. And that is what we are going to put in the manual for today. And I'm going to leave it at that. And give myself a little round of applause before I exit right on up out of here.
This episode is brought to you by Pyro Media Network, produced by Pyro Media Productions, setting brands ablaze since 2017. Thank you for listening.